Monster Rise is a game that proudly wears its inspirations on its shoulders. From weapon design down to the food, it is obvious that the Monster Hunter Portable team felt their pickle tickled for Japan again. Of course, the major focus of Monster Hunter are the monsters, and this game brings in a bunch of new monsters with interesting origins in Japanese yokai, which are basically mythological Japanese beings ranging from the benevolent to the malevolent. In this series of videos, I dig around and tell you the origins of these new monsters, from their animal inspirations to their yokai counterparts. So grab a snack and let's explore the hunter notes. The Almudron is the poop dragon. It enjoys spreading its fecal matter. No, it's mud. The Almudron is a long leviathan monster that serves as a boss fight later on in the game. It is meant to be a challenging fight for any player not using the longsword. When it comes to name origins, I'm going to take some guesses here. The Al part probably comes from some guy named Al, one of the creature designers has a crush on. I'm not quite sure what the mud part is from, so maybe someone can clear that up in the comments. The Drun part sounds similar to drone, or even the commonly used suffix tron for mechs or bots. The reasoning for this is probably due to the monster's armor and weapons. The Almudron's armor has a robotic appeal that anyone with a love for mechs and cute animals will surely love. Its Hunter Notes entry reads, "As its name implies, the Almudron spends a great deal of time lurking in mud, at least until it emerges to smother approaching prey. From its tail oozes a strange golden fluid, which Almudron uses to dissolve the ground beneath its prey, arresting them in a mire so that it can drag them under. When enraged, it produces more fluid, turning the mud golden. When you see gold, watch out." Interestingly enough, this is the first entry I have covered that goes more into the animal counterpart than the yokai, specifically referring to its hunting style. We can tell by the description and the cutscene that the Almudron is an ambush predator, which will play a part in its animal counterpart. Looking at its design, we can conclude that the Almudron has its origin in catfish, specifically flatheads. Flathead catfish are a type of catfish that differentiate themselves from their cousins through both appearance and eating habits. Like other catfish, flatheads enjoy murkier, muddy waters in order to dig out a burrow to nest and have a safe, cool spot during hotter temperatures. Unlike other catfish, flatheads exclusively feed on live prey, mainly other fish. Crayfish aren't out of the question though. Flatheads are ambush predators, a common tactic in the animal world used even by one of the strongest predators in the wild. The Almudron may have a snake-like body, but I contribute this more to what I believe to be one of the yokai inspirations for the Almudron, the Tatsu. The Tatsu is simply an Eastern-style dragon, and putting these two side by side show the similarities. Both are long and have some form of a mustache. The appearance is the only thing to draw from the Tatsu, however, as the main yokai to inspire this monster is a Dorotabo. The Dorotabo is the spirit of an old man who has endlessly worked hard on his fields in order to provide for his family and ensure a future for his children. It has 3 fingers to represent 3 vices: anger, greed, and ignorance. The Dorotabo manifests when the land it has dedicated its life to is left alone without any care, usually by a neglectful son who wastes his life being a pathetic person who indulges in his vices. The Dorotabo will rise from the mud, in the desolate field it worked so hard on in its former life, wailing in a mournful, furious voice. His haunting will not stop unless his former family begins to care for the rice field, or they move and sell the land to a person who will. This yokai likely came to be as a way to teaching Japanese children to appreciate their father's hard work and discourage ignoring their legacy. After all, land was expensive and would be able to provide both an income and food. Compared to the previous 2 monsters, the Almudron seems to take the bare minimum when it comes to its yokai inspiration. It would have been cool to see the Almudron have 3 fingers as a little nod to the Dorotabo's 3 fingers, but the mud platforms and mud waves are super cool anyway. One of the few monsters that take full advantage of the wire bug, it is one of my favorite fights and the 3rd most satisfying monster to shred on.